All right, this week on Sunday Morning Check-In, we are doing a draft recap, power rankings, and pre-week 1 waiver activity. Enjoy! Gentlemen, welcome to the first week of our Sunday morning check-in pod. As I mentioned at the top, we are doing a draft recap. We're going to go through some power rankings. We're going to have some fun today. It's your host and commissioner, Jay Kula. Want to start off by saying one hell of a draft this year. Tip of the cap to John for hosting what I think to date might be the best draft we've ever had as a group. A lot of highs. Not too many lows. We had an underage auctioneer, super drunk Randy, confused Brad. I mean, it had it all. It was awesome. Today, we're just going to go over some of the preseason power rankings, a couple of the teams. Maybe towards the end, just kind of look at the waivers, see who has already been picked up, who's left on there. Not going to do too much of my own power rankings here. I'm basically just going to go off of what ESPN had, starting at the bottom and going to the top. So at the bottom we have Randy. Basically kind of what we expected. A lot of Bears on his team. His keepers, groomer was really solid. And then, in my opinion, kind of downhill from there. He's got his RB 1-2, wide receiver 1-2, really strong. But then it's just a lot of Bears. If Malik Neighbors works out, Keenan Allen works out, might have a pretty solid team, but really relying on the starters there, Bijan, Nico, Debo, and Jameer. I don't know. He's obviously very active on the waiver throughout the season, so he can do a lot. Don't see too many wins, but I could see an upset here or there for Mr. Ditka's hand bones. Next, ESPN had the dude abides, Baxter. Baxter with a pretty solid draft, I thought. I'm not sure why ESPN ranked him so low. Solid running back, or wide receiver room, Puka, Devontae, both hoping for volume. Puka's going to be battling some injuries. He's battling Cooper Kupp. Devontae's battling a pretty terrible quarterback and team. Jordan Love at the top. That's my boy right there, so that should get him some victories. But yeah, pretty solid bench, with that trade with Brandon. Got him a couple extra wide receivers who could go one way or the other, but I think he'll, do as he usually does and kind of be consistent, get the wins he needs to win. Might lose some tough ones, but, I think he'll probably be the biggest jump, ranked 9th. My prediction is he'll go make it to the playoffs. He always finds a way, so we'll see if that happens. Next, we have Mitch. Mitch, I believe, spent all of his money at the draft, which has got to be a first. And I have to look really quick. He might only have 3 or 4 rookies, which might be another record for him, so pretty impressive. Love his wide receivers. Garrett Wilson, relying a lot on Aaron Rodgers having a good year. Marvin Harrison, we'll see how he does. I think, again, just a volume play there. It's going to be great. Running backs, Devon Achane, I have him in another league. By the way, first time that'll be said this year. Hopefully many more times. Devon Achane, I think, is going to be an all-or-nothing kind of guy. Hopefully he rocks it out this year. But yeah, with the bench, a lot of young guys, a lot of unknowns there. So, I think his ranking is pretty accurate here. CD with a questionable IR spot already, so we got to watch for that. He's playing week 1, so I'm not sure why he's on the IR, but Then we have Justin JC, who had someone draft for him. Someone that has drafted in the past and won a championship, but apparently didn't have that same magic this year, according to ESPN. I am currently looking for him. F&A Cotton with the team name change, drafter change. Will that help? He's looking at a strong C.J. Stroud, Saquon Barkley, Chris Olave, Brandon Ayuk, Rashee Rice, who I really wanted in the flex. A really balanced team. Again, the bench isn't too strong. We'll see if Nick Chubb kind of comes back and maybe has a brand new knee week 5. That could really change things around for him. But again, I think pretty accurately ranked here based on kind of the depth in the starters. Next, at the 6th spot is yours truly. I don't know, we'll have to go back, but this might be the lowest I've ever been ranked, so kind of a weird spot for me. The benefit of me hosting this podcast is I can brag as much as I want to, and no one can do anything about it, but I don't know. Obviously, I think ESPN was way off in this ranking, easily a top 3 draft in my eyes. Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown combo, I mean, that's game over right there. Running backs, obviously, is where it's going to be weakest, but I think running backs in fantasy are not great anyway. I think they're going to become obsolete. Maybe next year I think we should vote not even to have running backs, just do a wide receiver, quarterback-only league. But beyond that, DJ Moore, Cooper Kupp, Travis Kelce, tight end 1. I think I got a steal with the Browns defense for $1. And yeah, I'm digging that deep onto my team, talking about the defense here. But yeah, I think like a lot of teams so far in the bottom 5, just a really thin bench, even though I got Tank Dell there. But we'll see, if my starters stay healthy, like a lot of these guys on the bottom half. I think we'll have some upsets over some of these top 5 guys. All right, moving into the top 5, at number 5 is our gracious host. What does he call himself? The real champ. I don't know how long he's allowed to keep that name. Obviously dating back to the crazy Bills game where someone almost died. I think we can all get over that at this point. But John, number 5 here. Lost the page. I gotta find. Okay, here we go. Pretty solid starting players. I mean, he's got a lot of big boom players. Kyler Murray, I think, is going to be potentially a top 3, top 4 quarterback. His running backs, I know a lot of people like Ken Walker. Rashad White somehow is relevant every year. I don't know how, but I could also see those 2 guys going the other way. They're on pretty bad teams. Zay Flowers, I think, is just going to be kind of a constant, like 10 to 12 point guy. Tyreek Hill, obviously, in my opinion, going to be the number 1 wide receiver this year. And then Mike Evans, man, every year he just does good, so I can't foresee him changing it up this time. Yeah, solid bench. Singletary, Ford, Cooper, McLaurin, Pitts. I mean, yeah, hard to find a lot of downfalls with John's team. All right, maybe the largest climb from last year's preseason power rankings. Brad at number 4. As much complaining as he did at the draft about people not bidding enough, he seemed to bid appropriately and get the guys that he wanted. Again, really solid starters. James Cook is a guy I really wanted. Josh Jacobs, we're all rooting for him, obviously. Amon-Ra. Devontae Smith at wide receiver 2. Questionable. I could probably see him playing T. Higgins more, but that's going to be a tough call week to week. But yeah, I think his running backs are solid. He's even got Brian Robinson on the bench, which I really like. So again, another difference between the top 5 and the bottom 5 is just he's got that depth on the bench, which I really like. Number 3, surprisingly, drafting for himself, still made the top 3 in the ESPN Power Rankings, is Twizzling Renegades, Layman. Still trying to get championships off the back of Josh Allen, but I don't think it's going to happen. Bold prediction is Josh Allen falls out of the top 3, possibly even the top 5 fantasy quarterbacks this year. I've kind of looked at this team a lot. I play him week 1. I still am confused as to why they think Alvin Kamara is going to get 17 points. I just don't see that. I know there's not much depth on that team. It's a PPR league. He's going to get a ton of receptions, but man, I don't think New Orleans is going to have the ball long enough for him to get 17 points, but whatever. Justin Jefferson, projected 18. I don't know how he's going to get there. Sam Laporta, I don't know. So, on paper, this might be this year's on paper best team in the draft, but I can definitely see it going either way. Not trying to hate, but I see a lot of big names, guys that had big games last year that I could see falling from grace a little bit here. At the number 2 spot, we have Dillman, Slow White Bronco. Just a solid team. Went with his boy Lamar, with his boy Christian McCaffrey, and then, of course, at the tight end, Evan Ingram, who he loves. Those guys should be pretty solid. DK Metcalf, Michael Pittman. I think they're good. I think Seattle and Indy are going to be 2 teams that play above their projected win totals. I think there'll be some surprising teams in the league. And again, of course, just solid depth. David Montgomery, especially if Gibbs goes down, David Montgomery could be a league winner. J.K. Dobbins was a little sleeper. I've heard a lot of people wanting him late. He's still a really young guy, so I wouldn't be surprised if he does some damage if he could stay healthy. But yeah, and then he's got Njoku as his second tight end, so I think he's going to be pretty much set at tight end. But overall, solid team. Nice job. And then at the top is Brandon, and I think, Brandon has been ranked in the top 1 or top 2 many times in this league. Solid team, especially with that trade with backs, kind of scooped up Calvin Ridley. I know we talked about it. You said you thought that was a pretty even trade. Could be, but I also think Calvin Ridley could be a solid sleeper this year on that Tennessee team that just likes to chuck it. But obviously Jamar Chase, Jonathan Taylor, Breece Hall, Patrick Mahomes, those could all potentially be top 3 guys at their positions. Bench is pretty solid, but I think your starters, if they stay healthy, you won't even need your bench. Even if you lose a couple bye weeks just because of that bench, I think your starters are overpowered and they're pretty solid. So if you stay healthy, cross fingers, I think you might have it this year. All right, so that is what ESPN had for you guys. I don't know if I'm going to do this every week, but I just thought it might be a nice little addition, just kind of looking at the league activity, checking to see who got scooped up, who got dropped, just so everyone's aware of the potential waivers, so no one misses out on a good time. Randy picked up Chuba Hubbard for $8, pretty solid. Curtis Samuel, Rashad Bateman, Jordan Addison for $11. I don't think anyone else bid on Jordan Addison, so I'm not sure why the $11 happened. Probably could have got him for $1. But, it was mostly free agent pickups, so not too much left over, not too many drops. And then other league activity, Mitch has set Zamir White's status to likely to trade. So if you didn't see that, he is likely to trade Zamir White, so shoot Mitch a text if you're interested in the Las Vegas running back. All right. For the last thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to just do something fun. I'm going to bring my wife in. I'm going to read her all of the names, and I can guarantee you she doesn't even know the name of my team, and I'm going to have her pick a champion just based on our team names. She's making her way in. This was kind of unplanned, so thank you for your patience. Jackie, you are on record here on the pod. Say hi to everybody.
Hello.
All right, and Connor, you can help out if you want. I'm going to read you all the team names of everybody in our league, and from those names, I want you to pick a winner, okay?
Okay.
These are in no particular order. I just want you to hear the names, remember them, and tell us who's going to win. We have Milwaukee Bearcats, Copperfields, Miracle Legumes, Ditka's Hambones, Twizzling Renegades, Thick's Picks, The Real Champ, The Dude Abides, Slow White Bronco, and Swims Backwards is Smuse. Based on those names, who do you think's taking home the gold?
The Dude Abides.
The Dude Abides. There you have it, everybody. The Dude Abides is winning this year. Is he the champion we need? We'll never know. Peace.